Okay.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We have a standard OYIYI classic episode. It's just myself and Reese. We did have a guest, or potential guest, but we're going to have him in on, I've given it away, it's a he, or maybe not anymore. Monday evening. We are currently on Thursday afternoon. We're filming this later than we usually would, just because Reese doesn't have his haircut today, because we've had to move things around based on what our antics have been like, all the different things we've been getting up to over the past week.
Are we allowed to speak about them?
You tell me. I think we just hint at it, but we don't really. Anybody who follows us, you've probably seen that we were driving around in a van. That's it.
That could be taken out of context and sound slightly disturbing.
Slightly paedophilic.
Yeah, that's a bit... What were we doing in said van?
It doesn't matter.
We weren't picking up children, unfortunately, guys. Well, fortunately, that's not what we were doing.
We don't need... I think we just leave it at that.
No, I think we could say where we went, because that would be interesting.
On the first day, Wednesday, we hired a van with a tail lift. I was going to say a forklift, a tail lift van. Yeah. It's massive, to be fair. It's quite fun to drive.
It was fun to drive, yeah. And on the Wednesday night, I'll skip ahead.
No, it was the Wednesday morning. It was the first day.
No, but we didn't realise how to turn the lights on.
Oh yeah, the lights were off, but you go back to the morning when you killed the family.
Yeah. I forgot about mauling the family. So I've picked up this van, and bearing in mind, I've never driven anything that big. Like my M2 Comp is literally like a little... I've never rode anything big, guys. I'm not an experienced rider. So this is it's bigger than a van. It's a big van. It's in between like a big van and a lorry. And it feels huge when you're driving it. And I was in Loughborough and I was to pick up Finn, and I was going left on this corner, and because of how big it is, you did it I think once or twice, didn't you? Where you cut off over a corner, and when you cut over the corner, the back end, because of how aggressive you have to be sometimes with how big it is, the back end wheel will go over the curb. And it was miles away from this family of three. I was literally like 1.5 meters. I literally looked a bit dramatic. But I had to take this corner, and a car was on the opposing side, so I had to be quite tight. And I had my window down. I just hear this go, ah! And I look in my mirror and I'm like, a bit dramatic. But I just picked up Finn and was like, I about mauled a family of three. Imagine that, just oh, hey mate, I've run over a family of three.
The day's off. I'm going to take the van back.
Project over, that's it. I'm taking the van back because I'm actually in the back of it.
We did say that, to be fair, I think you should almost have to pass a bit of a test. Or at least when you pick it up, they come in with you for half an hour and they just show you the ropes. Make sure you don't maul any families.
Yeah.
The brakes were awful as well. The amount of times that I had to almost slam on, but you couldn't slam on. There was a point where I missed our turning because I daren't slam on because there was things in the back, And I was like, I'm not going to slam on. I was like, this is our turning. And I was trying to slow down. I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
We're going to tip. You were like, I think your exact words were we're going to tip.
I said I would have tipped it. So I just carried on. It was another 20-minute drive. I was like, I don't mind.
Yeah.
So he was dying. Wednesday we went to... So Reese picked me up in the morning. So apologies, first of all, to any of our clients.
Yeah, because we were shit coaches for a few days.
We did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We did voice note check-ins.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot of them. I got a bit done in the mornings. I think I was able to get a few done in the mornings before I went to get Reese, or Reese came to get me. But yeah, it was just a few busy days. I think we were literally in the van for... The only times we weren't in the van were when we were training or sleeping. Literally, that was it. It was pretty much from the point we were waking up, or at least an hour or two after, and then we weren't getting back till 11, 12 each day. So it was long. But it was fun. So yeah, Wednesday we went to Rotherham, trained at Rotherham, picked up a Stairmaster, which people already know about.
Yeah.
Thorburn put it on his story.
Yeah. My heart skipped a beat there. I was like, what?
Yeah, picked up a Stairmaster for your mum.
Yeah.
For your mum's gym. Your mum's office gym.
Yeah.
That your mum wants.
Yeah, Stairmaster collected. Then went up to Newcastle Way. Won't say what we got there.
I can't remember what we got there.
Yeah, I can't remember, to be fair. Yeah,
that was the guy that couldn't open the gate and he was late.
Yeah, and he was the most northern dude ever.
Yeah, they were sound.
They were sound lads. That was on there, and then we came back, and we got a Starbucks at 6:30.
I got decaf.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour drive to Finn. It was 3.5, and I was like, I'm gonna get back.
I enjoyed it though,
mate, it's weird. 4-hour drive. I thought it went really quick.
Because we said this, didn't we? When you're young and you're in car for ages and you got nothing to do, you're just waiting. It's so boring. But now, because we can kind of work in the car still, we can still send voice notes and stuff. Time does go fast in the car. If I've got a 2-hour drive, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Because I can just once I'm on the motorway, I sometimes have a meal. I can get back to WhatsApp. Yeah. It's pretty easy to get a decent like drive in without it feeling like it was like it didn't feel like it was 4 hours.
And also, we're in such amazing company.
Yeah, exactly.
We're together, we get to talk about.
I feel like
our feelings.
we didn't really speak, did we? Oh, there was one day where we thought we'd be back in time, so we only took. There was one day where we went to Asda to get a meal. What did we get?
Oh, that was I got chicken wraps, or I got some chicken, some cooked chicken, because we brought all our meals that we thought like for the first day we were like, oh yeah, we'll be sound with this. Like,
I thought I'd be back at like 8:30, and my last meal's at like 8.
So I thought my last meal.
Perfect,
yeah. So I was like, oh, last meal will be like 9:30, 10. That'd be cool. And, like, there's no real difference to my normal routine. When we looked at the time, it was like try about 3 hours.
I didn't get back till like 11. And
yeah, mine was midnight. So yeah, so we went. Like, I got like some tortilla wraps, because the problem is like I try and mix and match macros. It's when you can't have them, like if you can just. I said it was like if you could just buy some like microwave rice and a microwave sound.
Yeah.
Simple.
To be fair though, you just pretty much got what your normal meal was. Like I did. Like my normal meal would have been my meal 1, because I moved things around because we trained off one meal. So it's literally my usual first meal is beef, eggs, yogurt, granola, fruit, and instead I got chicken, yogurt, granola, fruit.
And put the chicken in the yogurt.
Yeah, it was banging.
Yeah, he was like, oh my god.
Honestly, guys do it. It's so good, isn't it?
Did you actually have chicken? No, I was going to say, I said that as a joke, and you said that really believably.
I'm quite good, yeah.
Yeah, you said that, like, your humour's coming back, mate, and so's your aggression. That's what the reel that you dropped this morning.
Shannon knows, mate. Shannon's going to work beat up every day.
Great, fantastic. But no, I was actually going to say, I said this to a few clients, like, when we met in the morning, it was literally like, you're right, here's my laptop, and then here's my bag of food. Like, to us, that's normal. But like I said to clients, like, because when clients, like, if that was us 8 years ago,
people like,
we probably would have only brought maybe a pre and post.
I don't know. I think we've always been on it with food.
But I find it mad to think, like, I said this to a client, I can't remember the last time I went somewhere
and
without
prep food.
Like, just before we started this, I have my bowl literally down here that I was walking around eating
on the way in the car.
Yeah, and it's like I can't imagine.
One in the fridge.
Yeah, I can't imagine like going somewhere and being like, oh, where's like not bringing a meal. You know, or just being like, I'll just get food on the way.
As well, like having to think like, oh, I probably should eat now. Like, oh, what can I go and get? Oh, I've got to go. Like when we had to go to Asda, I was like, this is fucking boring.
Yeah. We literally walking around looking at 5-10 minutes, like trying to mix and match macros.
It's fucking ball ache. Just prep your food. Like I was a bit annoyed that we didn't, because I was like, but then also, like I say, that day did just drag on. Like we thought we'd be back a bit earlier, but anyway, we went up to Newcastle, and then obviously get stuck in traffic a little bit, come all the way back down, and then the day after I set off to yours at like 6:30 or something. So yeah, sleep for like 3 days. It wasn't awful, but like I was literally getting in, making my food for the next day, and then just going to bed. Like shower, bed. It was like I think I literally saw Shannon for like in total half an hour for like the whole 3 days. So it was literally just like when I got in, because I'd already up and gone by the time she'd get.
And they don't sleep together in the same bed.
No, because
she hasn't moved back in
because we're old.
Yeah.
Since prep. Separate rooms.
Yeah, separate rooms. They don't speak to each other at this point. What was the words? Emotional abuse, or what was the system?
I'm abusive.
Yeah.
Emotionally and physically. Physically was
coming back now. Only physically recently.
Before I was trying to be physical, I just had no energy. I couldn't even beat her. So hard.
She beat me up. But now the man is back. This is a joke.
This is a joke.
We are not pro woman abusing.
I'm not emotionally or physically abusing it in any way. So Thursday was fucking. We had a plan for Thursday.
It was so.
I think we thought that Thursday was like 4 days.
We thought we couldn't have done Thursday
had 40 hours in it.
If the day had 40 hours, we still would have been able to do it.
No.
Yeah, we like in our head. I was like, makes sense, but we didn't account for stopping off and getting coffees, going for
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, we had like 2 to 3 a day. Not going to the toilet like when you get to a services or whatever and stopping off.
Fuel,
traffic, fuel. The
we
van.
were fucking stupid with the fuel.
Yeah,
you were stupid with the fuel.
The
first day, right? So
we filled it up.
We got it with 5 times. We got it with a quarter of a tank, and Reece was like, "Right, we need to be smart with fuel." We had it for 3 days. We thought it was 2 initially, but we had it for 3 days, and you were like, "I'll just put 40, and then we'll just keep doing 40s." And like before we were stopping every like 2 hours, putting 40 quid in, and we're like, "This is wasting time." And then you got to the point where you were like, "Right, I'll do 80." And then you did 2 40s in a row. And the next day I did 80, but then still like I feel like a few hours later you were doing 60 again, and I was doing 60. It's like, fucking hell, let's just fill it up. And like, we didn't fill it up once.
No, we didn't get past halfway. I think we just kept on literally just going from 0 to halfway, and we were like, "Yeah, do it."
We were driving it on 0 loads as well.
Yeah, that was proper risky. So Thursday was this was the plan. Can anyone let us know if this is actually possible? Because in our heads, this sounds
It is possible if it's like so efficient.
So,
and we were already late because
Abster
was late.
So we thought, okay, we need to be doing something in the morning. So like 7:30, 8 o'clock, do something in the morning. That'll take a good amount of like 20, 30 minutes. We then thought if we leave for like 8, half 8, we could go from, so we're like, it's Lutterworth area. Someone's going to dox us and fucking SWAT team us and raiders. Yeah, and then steal all our fantastic merch.
Steal all our massive swords.
Yeah, overall swords.
All one of them.
All one.
Reece just fucked something, so we've had to cut it.
Yeah, that was really bad. Finn just looked at me like, why? I was like, didn't you realise? I'm praying, fingers crossed.
I'll message you.
Yeah, that needs to be cut out. How far are we in? 20 minutes. Yeah, cool. Make a note of that. So pretty much, we decided leave it at like 8:30. Go down from, so we're Lutterworth way. Go down from Lutterworth to like Birmingham or Cardiff, but one of them.
No,
we were going to go Birmingham.
We were going to do Cardiff and then come Birmingham on the way
Cardiff, Birmingham, and Cardiff is like, when you type it on maps, just over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Turned out it was about 3.5 hours, maybe even 4. The traffic
probably was about 3-ish.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, we leave at 8. That takes us to late morning. Get our stuff, get what we need, come back.
We then thought it was like an hour from Cardiff to Birmingham.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
It was like 3.
Yeah, it was like 3 again. And we were like, how does this make sense? It was like 2 hours 23, and we were like, okay, how does this make sense? So we got there. And then we thought in our heads it would be possible to go then up to Norwich, which is
the plan before we realised.
Yeah, the other way. So it's like bottom left of the country, to like not top right but middle right. Yeah. And in our heads we were like, we get to Birmingham for like 1-ish. Then we fly all the way over. That'll be like a good couple of hours. Like we'll get there for 4.
We said we'd get there for like evening, like it'd be like 5, 6-ish, like late evening-ish when we'd be heading back. And we were like, we'll get back late, but we wouldn't have got there till like 1 a.m.
Yeah, we didn't. We got
back from
Birmingham.
Yeah, but it was Birmingham, and then it was Walsall.
Yeah, there was 2 Birmingham.
And then we got back, and it was like 8 p.m. We were like, right, let's go to Norfolk.
And the funniest thing is, we spoke to the guy that we were going to, and he was like, "Oh, that would have been sound." He was like, "That would have been fine." We were like, "No, mate, it would have been one."
Tell him about the mess up about the guy we were speaking to from Norfolk.
This gets even worse. This is a car crash of events, but it was just funny. We were riding off vibes, to be fair. So basically, we spoke to a dude me and Finn were both speaking to. Separately. And how do we say it without giving it away?
Basically, Reece was speaking to a guy about something, and I was speaking to a guy about something, but they were on like separate accounts.
Yeah.
So we didn't know we were speaking to the same guy. And like on the day that we were like, there's no chance we're going to Norwich today, we both messaged him separately, like, sorry mate, it's going to have to be tomorrow, is that alright? And when we met him the day after, he was like, I was so confused. I was like, there's these 2 people coming to see me, and they're both cancelled, and they're both saying they're coming tomorrow at the same time. And
then, I thought they were the same person.
And then the day after, like, we were just chatting about it, and I was like, right, so where are we going? And then I was like, well, it's close to this one. I was like, this is where I'm going. And then like got the account up, and we're like, we've been speaking to the same guy.
I actually looked at him and was like,
just sent him a voice note. We're like, sorry, mate.
And he called us.
Yeah, he rang us.
And he was sad.
And he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, he was like, just what the fuck? We were like, sorry, mate. We're new to this sort of stuff. And then, on the Thursday, we got back at like 8 o'clock. So that was great.
Yeah, it wasn't actually too bad. I did a bit of work when I got in. It was quite nice.
No, it was.
It wasn't like,
no, I got in and was like,
sleep.
oh my God, I've got like an hour. Yeah. Not where I'm like knackered. And then Friday was Norwich. We trained at Fully Pumped. What's your opinions of Fully Pumped?
It was really good. Like,
quite a unique gym.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we were saying, if you know about gym equipment, there's some really like cool pieces in there that's like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah.
If you don't know about gym equipment, like it's probably not the best gym, because like the layout's not amazing.
Yeah.
The lighting's maybe not amazing. The music was good.
Yeah.
The vibe was like decent, wasn't it? And the people were nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we got a free day pass, didn't we? Because people know us.
Yeah.
Didn't get one at Rotherham though.
No.
But yeah,
we tried to.
We tried to get one at Rotherham. Yeah. But no, the gym was really good. Like obviously, if we lived like around there, we'd train there. Like I would recommend it, but it was a weird layout. That's what I'd say. Let it down a bit, and like some really shit kit.
Yeah, there was some
really good kit.
Yeah,
like if that was my gym, I'd be like, I'm just gonna get rid of the really shit kit. Keep the really good kit. Even if I've got less kit, I'd rather have less really good kit.
Yeah, and I think there was like when we spoke to the owner, it was like some bits we were like, it's probably just not like the guy trying to make money, but he probably viewed like some of it as like a collection, and then other bits that are just like, oh, well, it's new, so it's cool. But in reality, it's like, well, it's new, but
some of the bits were a bit naff. But some of the bits, he had some really cool bits.
Yeah, like it's one of the probably the most like unique gyms. I'd have that. Like it probably wasn't as unique as the Coach, but like it had definitely like you don't see you don't see many bits of kit. Like there was some really cool old pre-core stuff. That nitro calf seated calf raise was really sick. They had the Mark 1 Cybex hack, which there's only a few in the country.
Paid 500 quid for it. No, a grand.
No, it was 500 quid.
No, it was a grand. I think it was a grand. It was 500 quid for the hamstring curl.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, the guy was like, so back in the day, he bought a Cybex hack off someone, and the guy was like, oh, I don't know, give me a grand.
Yeah.
Mark 1 hack. So it's like he could make 10 times the money on that.
Probably more. Like, it's a joke. So yeah, really, really cool gym. Like definitely one of those that if you're in like the Norfolk area, I go to Norfolk most Christmas, every Christmas pretty much for the last like 15 years, but I'm not like by that area. It's like a good hour away, so I've never actually gone, but I've always wanted to go. And yeah, it was a cool gym. I think if we were to go there again, like I'd probably say train legs just because of the Cybex hack, and they've got like
shit on it.
Yeah, your shit on it. You get 4 plates for 4.
Your shit as well.
I got 5 plates for like 7. Right? That's not bad considering my knees.
Like you're a big bodybuilder, you should be better than that.
Yeah, maybe.
You've got clients doing 7 plates on it.
Storm, 7 plates for 17. Ridiculous. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Storm, one of my clients, 7 plates. So
he's got a knee wrapped up though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I could have 10 plates on it with knee wrapped.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. two dudes there doing it for me.
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
Just pushing you up. Yeah, wearing his
feet right at the top.
Yeah,
just doing glutes, was he?
Yeah, he's actually just training glutes. Sound. So, yeah, it was a good few days to be fair, and then since then everything's been sound. Like we had the show. Obviously, we've been doing the show reviews. We didn't really speak about the last few shows. Like we didn't speak about the end of the UK FBA show, did we? And then we've been needing to, but we've just had a bit of a busy week.
Yeah, we were going to do a separate like bikini and physique review.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we could still do. It's just we have been like. Not... But and to be fair, we've got the PCA coming up this weekend, which will be cool with all the reels. So we'll do a review on it then. But yeah, it's just been a busy week. Sort of struggled to get like as much content out as usual. So sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But we'll do a PCA one this weekend.
Yeah, you're there, aren't you? We're both there. Which would be cool.
You're just not going?
No, I just decided, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it guys, I'm just not going to be there on the show day. No, PCA Naturals, that'd be good. It'd be a busy show, obviously. They've split up everything into like height classes and stuff. So, and it's at the same, it's in the Telford, which is a good venue. Yeah.
For George, it's under 5'6". So really good for him. Because it was shit for him last time. Like I did feel for him because it was literally just like, he did get dwarfed, like height-wise. And obviously, somebody's just got a massive frame compared to you, like they're gonna make you look small. Yeah. So he did get overlooked, but he said he's quite excited for this one. Like not even in terms of like, oh, I think I'm gonna do loads better because everyone's gonna be short. Like it's just more of not an even playing field, but it actually is. Yeah,
like,
it is a lot more even, but also like you get the nerves out of the way. Like that was his first ever show. It was Ben's first ever show. Like they're both so excited now. Like they were excited for the first one, but it's like nerves
you can't
and excitement.
Take it in.
Whereas this one, it's like, oh, cool, I'm excited. And it's also like less pressure. I think when it's your first show, people put so much pressure on, like, everything has to be perfect,
also,
I have to be the best.
When you don't do that well, like, you almost go, okay, well, the only way is up now.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't placed, it's like, well, and now, if I don't place again, it's like, okay, I just need to be better. And if I do place, it's like, it's better than last time.
It's like, it's acceptance. It's like, I think, like, with you, especially, you think your last season, when, like, with physique, it didn't go as well as you wanted. You're like, okay, let's do this, let's change things up a bit, let's go into doing classic.
But I wouldn't have done that if that was my first season.
No, and also you wouldn't have done that if physique went really well.
Yeah, true.
And it actually ended up being the best thing for you, that it was like, okay, like I'm not really going to stick to physique anymore, and like you enjoyed it so much more when you like took that pressure off. Because before you were like, I want to win a pro card, and it was like there was a worthy sort of focus, but it was like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
Same with me, like I put way too much pressure on myself in the prep, like to the point where I ended up hating it. Like if I'd have actually just enjoyed it more, I'd have looked better, I'd have felt better, I'd have probably got better results. Like, but instead I was like putting so much pressure on having to be
the perfect coach, the perfect athlete.
Exactly. And it was like I just ran myself into the ground, and like it. Obviously, at the end, like you learn. I'll never be like, oh, I regret doing this or I regret doing that, because like you learn from it, and like it was still a great season. I got great results with clients, with myself. Like it was still really, really good. But when you look back, you think, fucking hell, like I put so much pressure on myself, like stupid amount of pressure. And I tell my clients not to do that, but I still did it. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard not to. But yeah, I think for generally like we'll always say it, like, pressure's a good thing. Like, you should feel pressure. Like,
I
you should feel
you
pressure in
shouldn't go
the gym.
into it with no pressure,
No.
because then you're just going to be slack.
Well, you should feel pressure in everything that you do. Like, there's pressure to perform in day-to-day life. There's pressure to get out of bed in the morning. I always say when clients are like, oh, mate, feeling like there's a bit too much pressure on my training, I'm a bit scared to, like, I'm struggling to progress and I'm putting too much pressure on it. I say to them, like, you do know, like, pressure is a good thing. Like, if you didn't have any pressure, like, in life, like, you need to make money. You need to get up and go and make money and have enough money to live and have a roof over your head and eat food. If you didn't have that pressure, we'd all just fucking do nothing.
No.
So, like, having pressure is fine, like, it's good, but obviously you can take it way too far where it's like you completely block everything else out. But yeah, I think for Ben and for George, they're both already happy with, like, what they've achieved in the prep in terms of proving to themselves that they can stick to it, and they've nailed it, and they both look really good. Sonny's a bit like...
You been struggling a bit?
No, mate, it's just a lot of stress, bless him. He's been, like, evicted out of his house in this last week. Like, honestly, he's had so much shit going on in this... I sent him a voice note in Durham. So he messaged me and he was like, hey, mate, I just
when
want
you're in Durham, let's get fucking nasty then.
Yeah, that's all I said.
Let's get nasty.
I don't care if you're evicted, let's get nasty.
Let's
I've
get
got
nasty.
Anne Bales next to me. I just ran into the corner and screamed, let's get nasty, at him. Yeah. I didn't even answer his voice note. No, so he sent me a voice note, and I could tell he'd been a bit off, because he'd not been checking, usually he'd check in with me at like 6:30, 7. Yeah. But he'd not been checking in till like 8, 9, like for a couple of days. So like, I'd message him each day, like, you good? Like, making sure he's sound. And he was like, yeah, sorry mate, just really busy, like, got a lot going on. Yeah. And I was like, sound, like, obviously I know he's got a lot of work and stuff, like, he's obviously PTs and he's quite busy, so he's on his feet a lot.
Still PT out of Pure?
No, it was the gym group, but I think he's moved now. He said he got a new job now. So he's got, in this last week, he's got a new job.
Yeah.
He's been evicted out of his house.
And he's 10 days out, now a week out.
Yeah, well, mate, 2 days out.
2 days, yeah.
He's put a deposit down, because he's like, oh, I'm buzzing, I've got a really nice new place. So like, cool. I was like, thank God, he's not fucking homeless. Yeah. He's got a nice new place. He's put a deposit down, but because he's had to put a lot of money down, all his accounts got frozen. So he had no money. Yeah. And then he was stressing out about not being able to pay me. And he was like, "But don't worry, mate. It came out." I was like, "Mate, I don't care." I was like, "You were less than a week out." I was like, "Please do not stress." I was like, "I do not care." Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, but I just didn't want to not pay." I was like, "I felt
do
so
not care
bad.
until it fails, and then
and then sorry, just not get back."
Sorry, buddy. I'm going to ignore your show.
4 days
comes
out.
Up, you're like, "Hey, Finn, what's the plan today?" I'm like, "Don't know, bro."
Don't know. Your payment got failed. It failed. No, I was like, "Mate, please don't worry about that." But like,
you got cash?
Luckily, he's been all right, and he's like, we've brought it back in. I've not like given him much of a peak or anything. It's literally just been like, right, let's just get on top of these stresses and chill out. Yeah. And he looks a lot better for it, and he's down to a new low and stuff. But Sonny, he did message me, and he was like, I just really want to win something, and I was like it's like, oh, fucking, like, how I felt last year. Like, obviously, you can only do the best that you can do, and Sonny's good. But he's not ridiculous. You know, he's not a freak, and he knows that. But he's good. He's lean. He's managed the prep very well. He's maxed out
relative to what you can get. Like,
yeah,
it's one of those
he can't really get, at this point,
no.
I could push him to get leaner, but he's just going to take away, his legs are already sort of fading a little bit, his quads and stuff. It's like, he's got this and one more show. It's like, I'm not going to push him harder and harder, but he's managed the prep really well. Like, even with all the stresses, like, some people would be like, awful with that. With him, he's just like, this is happening, just give me some advice, let me know what I need to do. Yeah. Like, sound. And then obviously Conran's competing this weekend as well. Yeah. In the juniors, and then he'll be doing the following week at the WMBF in the novice. So he's not done a teen class.
So he's a teen. He's not doing a teen.
No, he said that. He messaged me and he was like, "Will I be doing teens at WMBF?" And I was like, "Let me double check."
Yeah.
And I messaged them and they didn't get back to me. I was like, "But it's first time."
They didn't get back to you, mate. You're men's medium British champ. They should have you on like, it's like almost
speed
like
dial.
the notification pops up like a special one. Like, Finn Kelly coach's messages.
Get back to him now.
Yeah, someone message him.
Coach of the year.
Yeah, and coach of the year. I mean, you beat Dan Watson as well. So
beat everybody.
Yeah.
Coach of the year, men's medium British champ. And they didn't get back to me, but I've had loads of people saying like, I've been emailing them, messaging them. They're just obviously busy, so like fair enough. But so there isn't a first timers. There isn't a novice teen class. It's just first timers. So obviously it has to be a first time on stage, and obviously Conran's done. By that point, he'll have done 2 shows. Yeah. So he's going into novice. Yeah. No, junior.
Junior, no, I think it's a novice earlier. Novice, but you did say novice. I'm pretty sure, but there is juniors. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Novice juniors, both.
I'm sure he's doing juniors. Yeah. I'll have to double check with him which one he entered. But the main thing for PCA this weekend is like, it's cool that George obviously gets to go into a class that's actually based on height, and he won't get overlooked really.
Yeah.
And then for the other guys, it's just a case of like trying. They're all better than they were last time they were on stage, which is the main thing. And then we've got Owen that I saw at the weekend doing the WMBF. That's obviously not this weekend, the following weekend, and he will be first timers because he's never been on stage. So I don't know who's going to be doing that.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like
there will be people, but like
I thought that to do 2 shows before, but then the first timers one last year was like a month later on down the line, wasn't it? It was like July. The one that Josh won.
Yeah, it was July.
So it makes sense if it's like you have the first block of, you have the MBW, then you have maybe like PCH, obviously PCA won a thing last year for natural shows. But then like 6 weeks down the line you have WNBF first timers. The fact that it's like this short stint, why would you only decide to do one show if you're a teen or like a first timer?
It'd be difficult because if you're going to do the WNBF, you've missed out on the ones before. There's not many after it. We're looking at other shows for Owen. There's not many. There's like an NPA one that he might be doing. Natural Physique Association in Penistone on the 30th. But he's not set on that. And I'm like, if you want to do it, do it. Like, we don't need to. Obviously, he's worked really hard. We've only worked with him 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a bit weird. Like, I agree. I was like, I don't know any teens that haven't competed already. Like, so I don't know who's going to be in it.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, who have you got? You've got Jacob again. Obviously, you've got Cam.
Jacob and Cam, which they're both really good to be fair. They're both in a really good spot. Jacob, another overall he wants, which it would be crazy, man. There's a chance. The thing is like, and this is the thing,
mate. That's what happened with Josh last year.
Yeah,
as soon as Josh won the first one, it was like, right, this is the goal for every show.
Yeah, like it's weird because I've said to Jacob in the way into the prep, like obviously I knew how good he was and I knew like potential wise and how he was, but you don't know until they actually get there. And then first when you see them on stage, because Jacob looks really, really, really good when he's not on stage, but then when he stands on stage, you're like, geez, he looks fantastic. So the goal was always like, right, win your class in the first show. I never even thought about the overall until about 4 weeks out. And then for PCA, you're up against juniors. Like, for example, I thought that Jack Chan would be up against him. I was like, the top 3 would be really good. I thought James Alabaster was doing it. He's not. He's doing some later PCA show, apparently, which is not. It's a bit weird, because you'd imagine if he's in the juniors, he should win. He's really good. If he's conditioned, that is. Like,
that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing. Like, if he's sliced, he would win every single natural show overall that you could most likely imagine. And then you've got and then I was like, WNBF, obviously you would have competed before, see what we put you at, and then like, if it's a team class, win that. If you're in the juniors, do well, top 3. And then about 4 weeks out, when I saw him at the shed when Sam filmed us, I was like, yeah, you could win an overall. And then since then, it's like, well, going into it, it's like, if you think about it, obviously PCA is a higher standard, but the people that probably are doing the show would have
it's already... Be similar,
yeah, exactly. And I also think as well, like, Jacob's got a bit of a package where, like, he is very hard to beat structurally based off a lot of criteria. Like, he's not perfect in any area, but he just ticks off so many boxes. And when you're really, really conditioned, you have a freakishly good body part, you've got a really small waist, and you've got really good flow, and you pose really well. It's like, it's hard to beat, you know. And also because he looks young, I think he looks fresh. Like, he looks,
you know, Josh last year. Like, obviously Jacob's got a freaky body part in his quads.
Yeah.
Josh didn't have one freaky body part. You could argue his glutes from the back.
Yeah, like, his glutes were very good.
Whenever from the back shots, like, he was most conditioned at pretty much every single show that he did. And it's like, that does make and again, like we said, the teen factor, not even just in the sense that like they look fresher, but in the sense that like, fucking hell, they're the teen as well. Like, the judges think about that, they go past the teen with.
Yeah, it's like exceptional relative to the class. Yeah. It's like, if you're like so much better as a teen and you're holding your own, in my opinion, that's more impressive than being like someone who's in the adult realms who's like really good, but not like at that level. So yeah, it's one of those, like, realistically, do I think he's going to win an overall this weekend? There's a chance. There is a chance. I don't know who's going to turn up. PCA. It
was the same last weekend. Like, the same with Josh. I wouldn't have ever been like, you're going to do it, or we have to win the overall. But
he might not even win the class. There might be some
the first one,
yeah.
It's always then like, right, so the goal is now, let's
win everything.
Yeah, you realistically, you're going to get into overall. Yeah. Like, Jacob should win every teen class.
Yeah, but he's not teens, juniors, but...
Yeah. But let's say it was teens.
Yeah.
Like, he should win that. Like, he should win any class that's his age.
Yeah.
Obviously, junior's a bit different.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're just thinking, right, so see how you get on in the overall.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. with Josh, it was like we were just planning for the overall. It wasn't planning for the teen class after the first show.
Yeah.
But obviously, he didn't have a junior show.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, with Jacob, like, really, really easy, like, plain sailing. He's in a really, really good spot. Like, when he was about 4 or 5 days out from his first show, his legs were so battered. And Jacob, I've said this to you loads, and I've said it to Jacob loads, like, his perception of fatigue is awful, because he's just like, I can do more, mate, I feel great. Like, the first thing he said to me when he got off stage, I think, like, after his class, was like, well, for the next shows, mate, I can dig harder if I need to. And I was like, no, you're fine. Like, if anything,
Sonny said,
yeah,
like, and it's usually the people that are the leanest that think that, and so it's like I was like that last year.
And I said to him, I was like, hey, like, that's a good mindset, but also we can dig in ways that aren't going to be as fatiguing. So I just built his steps up. Like, he went down to baseline food. His body weight was trickling down. His lowest before was 74 kilos, like on the dot, and we got down to I think 72.7. And then filled him back up, and like this is again his perception of fatigue. Like yesterday was the first day that I pulled his steps down. So his steps usually about 15k. He likes to walk. Like we push him up if he needs to, but then I pull him down. Had his first day of like 8 to 10k steps yesterday, and he drops a kilo, and he ate like 600 carb. And it's like, you're battered, mate. You need, and he's like, I honestly don't feel, like he said, I honestly don't feel that bad. And I'm like, yeah, because you probably are still riding off vibes.
You're also so used to it by that point.
You're used to being pretty trash. So like, because you're not feeling like death, you're now a 4 out of 10. You're like, oh, I feel fine because I'm not a 1 out of 10. I'm not 0 out of 10. So, yeah, today, more food than yesterday. Hopefully gain a touch of weight. It's one of those sort of things, though, where, like, when you are that lean, you can just fill up on the show day. Like, you can just fill up into the overall or fill up into the... He's on first class.
You don't need to, like... You don't need loads of time once you're already pretty fresh anyway. Yeah. Like, obviously, if you've just dropped off some fatigue and he looks good, like... You don't need to be like, right, we need a 3-day fat load.
No, he hasn't fat loaded. It's just that he's been like a slow escalation of carbs, which is pretty simple. And it is easy. It's not that hard when it gets to a point where it's like you're a few days out, you're striking distance, you have been for the entirety of time. And like Josh, for example, he could have stepped on stage. We said he could have stepped on stage any time, any day. A training day, he could have trained legs in the morning. He could have had 5 meals, 10 litres of water, and still at night he would look crisp as fuck. He might not be 100%, but he'd still be 95% and win most teen classes or junior classes. Jacob's the same. So just get him as fresh as possible. And then with Cam, Cam's actually fucking lean. Thank the Lord. Like, he looks really good. Looks really, really good. I was really happy with Cam. Saw him on Monday. Absolutely battered. Probably most battered I've ever... I said to you, I was like, most battered I've ever seen anybody in person when it comes to how... I was talking to him and he was like, trying to talk, but you could see like things ticking in his brain, and then he was having to stop.
You've obviously overdieted. You fucked him up.
No, he was starting out fat. It's
going to be some sort of fucking post-show phase. That.
Yeah, he goes away. Funny, he goes away the following day for a week. Like someplace to surf.
Are you just doing one show?
I think so. He wanted to do, when we spoke about it, he originally wanted to do the like back end shows as well. So I said to him, like, we'll see how you are. We'll kind of pick you up a little bit. I was like, add like 5, 10, 15 pounds, like get you training well, and then you can come back down. Like his physique, it's not where he's absolutely stripped, and it's also where he's stripped through the upper body. His legs aren't that battered. He's obviously done it a lot, but it's like if you were to start at the projected stage weight,
you'd still need another 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're not dead. So let's just see how you feel. And let's say, for example, if we get to August and you're like, mate, I'm ready to lock back into back end of the shows. It's like, right, cool, 8 weeks, let's do it. Because he responds quickly when he's on plan. It's just with Cam, he started way too fucking fat. We saw him at one of the PCA shows, and the first thing you said to him...
That wasn't him. That was someone else.
It was someone else.
Someone that had eaten him.
Yeah, he literally, Fing said to him, God, you've got fat. And he was like, whoa, no, I'm not. And it was like, you're so fat, bro. Like, men's physique guy, he was on stage at like 180, and he wasn't peeled at 180. I wasn't being horrible. And he was 240.
It was in a nice way.
He was 240. He did a Finn Kelly book from 2022.
Mine wasn't like, I got fat, but I was accepting it. I didn't gain like...
No, Cam was like, we saw him at a show, and he was like, lean. Like, not, he wasn't peeled, but he was lean.
2 weeks later.
And then it was the next show. It was like the following... It was like, it was 3 months later or something, and he was like, we were like, the fuck happened to you, bro? Hair had grown. He had like short hair, and then hair had grown. We were like, God,
himself.
Yeah, you're fat. So yeah, he started too fat. Like, Cam would be the first one to say this. Like, he knows it, and we've had to push. And like, honestly, it's like I look at it. I said to him, like, mate, I'm so impressed. Like, no one would do this. I would probably question. I'm probably just going to pull out and then do it again. Like, I'd do a pre-prep, because
it is impressive,
to be doing like
when people do just nail it, and like, and they have to really push it. Yeah. Like, it's very impressive.
Yeah, we're talking like 60 mins plus cardio for the longest amount of time I can remember. Doing like 25, like some days like 28,000 steps a day, like every single day for the last like probably 6 weeks. Pro fat rest days, like training days have just been like carbs pre and post workout. Every 5 sessions, I'll say to him, have an extra square bar pre or 2 square bars pre and post or something. So yeah, it's like an extra 80 carb or something like that, 3 square bars, because that's what he likes. And it's like, when you've had to push somebody really, really hard and they get there, it's like, oh, sick, you're actually, like, for the first time in your life, like, in stage condition for what we need. Because he kept saying to me, like, when he was at 190, he was like, soon to be in the 180s, that's my stage weight. He got down to 169. So I was like, you're not going to be on stage at 180, mate. Like, you might have been on stage at 180 before. That's not the weight you're going to be at. Like, I said to him so many times, like, look at the people that you, like, look at your stage photos and then look at the people, like, let's
Next
say,
to you.
that beat you, or, like, people that are legitimately ridiculous. Like, so you're not like that. You were never like that, like, when it comes to condition. So, yeah, he's in a really good spot now. I don't know who he's up against. I think, you know, the guy that won the overall for he's a joke, like, guys. Cam, if you're up against him, he's beat you. He's so good. Like, he's a joke. But I think Cam, like, one of those where if the lineup is good, if he was to win a show, condition wise, he's fantastic. He's got really good structure.
Good for physique, for PCA.
Yeah, he flows really well. Like, he's got, in my opinion, like a winning or a top 3 placing natural men's physique, which is what we achieved, what we wanted. And it's now just a case of, right, demonstrate, see how the lineup is. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a freak, if the overall winner's in there. It's like, okay, he's probably winning the whole thing. He is a joke. I didn't see him in person.
Weird one with Cam, like you say, he's not a freak. He's good.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if there's a really good class and he comes 4th, 5th, or he doesn't quite get top 3, or it's like a decent class and he wins.
Yeah, that's the thing with him. Like, he is not an alien. Like, he's in a group chat called, like, the Trend chat or whatever. So it's got, like, Cam Cleaver.
So he's not like, can't be in that chat.
Oh, he's in Trend.
You're not even allowed to be. You're not even allowed to associate with the word.
No, so it's James. I've been invited to the barbecue. I don't know if you have, but if you want to, I reckon I could get you an invite.
Why would I have been invited?
Because it's like lads that we know. So, like, James McDermott, Cam Cleaver, Finley Roberts, Cam, and I think there's another.
I've been invited to George's barbecue. Have you?
George who?
George, Matt G-Bum.
Oh, but
exactly. Why would I be invited to your client's barbecues?
Because it'd be a nice thing for us to go to if we want to go to a barbecue. And so Cam's got a swimming pool, he told me, in his house.
Oh, I'll be
like,
there.
Yeah, and he was like, we go swimming, bro. And I was like, yes, sound. You mentioned Snide, and then I think he said anyone else. I was like, oh yeah, so Finny, you're invited.
Anyone else, that's me, straight away.
Yeah, straight away. So I hook you up, I think about you. But anyway, that chat, like, Cam Cleaver, ridiculous, like, fantastic potential. Like, he could be a pro within a year or two. He looks fantastic. First time in his life he'd been peeled. It's all seemed to be the last time they competed, the first time in their life they actually got lean. James McDermott, ridiculous. Like, potential in him's a joke. Finley, when he listens to me, amazing. When he doesn't, shit. Like, let's be frank. But again, immense potential. Could be a pro again within a year or two. Cam definitely knows, like, out of that group, he's probably not the most. He's not a genetic freak. Those 3 others are really, really, really good. But Cam, relative to his, like, potential, he's not poor genetically, he's just not an alien. And that's the thing when it comes to one of these shows.
You also argue, like, has he actually managed his off seasons well? Like, you know what I mean? He's not an alien, but he probably could be better if he'd been doing X, Y, and Z better. But then also you could argue Finley could be a lot better. It's difficult to say, like, you don't want to play the he's not genetically gifted kind of card.
No, but he's never actually applied them. Yeah, Cam's exact words to me on a voice note like a week or so ago was like, he was like, I feel like I've changed my life. Like, you've been a big part. What my off seasons were just literally training a few times and then go and get fried chicken. But that's all my life consisted of. It was shit.
That's because he's in a prep and he's got that mindset now. He's excited for shows. Like, wait until it's a few
and
months
down the line. And it's like, are you still going to have that same drive to get on top of your food?
That's what people
get your sleep,
don't. They just
train hard. You know?
I always say to clients, like, as soon as people think of an off season or a bulk, as soon as that people say, I'm bulking, like, no, you're not. You're just getting fat.
Yeah, you're just
right. When you actually think of it as like
a prep,
an improvement phase and a gaining phase, of like I say, a prep, but
more food and
it's the gaining part of a contest prep.
Yeah.
You're still in preparation. If you're wanting to be a competitive bodybuilder, you're always in preparation for your shows.
Yeah.
It's just that you're sometimes in a phase that's a fat loss phase, sometimes you're in a phase that's a gaining phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that is one thing that does frustrate me, is that people that just like switch it on when they're in a prep and then wonder why they've not made that much progress. I'm not saying that that's but that is a lot of people.
But I'd say men's physique is the one class where you can kind of allow that for, because you don't need to be bringing Cam, for example,
good through body parts that are already like
Cam's not going to really lose, let's say this weekend, if he was to lose, based off, let's say, him being 20 pounds smaller than everybody muscle-wise. Do you get what I mean? Like, men's physique's one of those where it's like, if there is a class where it's like you actually don't need to be as on it in your off-season, it's probably a men's physique. But
but again, you never know. As soon as you have that mentality of like, I could have done more, I could have been better, you're always going to be questioning. Like, if someone beats you and you think, my off-season was a bit shit actually, then you're questioning it, aren't you? You're thinking, what could I have done better? Yeah.
But either way, like, it's one of those. Cam's like, he's done fucking awesome considering
how much he pulled off.
Since I think he started like 225 and he got down to 169, so like what, 50, 56, 57 pounds. But like the problem is it was split up into like 2 phases.
More than that. 225.
Yeah.
It was 65 pounds if he's got down to.
Mate, your maths is awful recently. 169 to 225.
Oh, yeah, 170.
You're overworked, mate. Your maths recently has gone out the window.
Yeah, I was thinking 160.
Yeah, it's 169, bro. Sorry. Yeah, 69 and just lose your head. You're like,
I 69. I was just thinking about just thinking sexually.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't help myself.
With dudes or girls?
Children.
The funny thing is that can be taken out of context, but it can't really. Like that's not.
I thought you were going to say that can be taken out of the podcast.
No, we leave everything in the podcast, other than when I fuck up and mention what we were doing the whole of last week. Fuck. But yeah, Cam's looks like as good as he potentially can do. It's just like I said, he fucked it over Christmas. Like signed up with me.
It's really difficult because obviously then you're like, oh, he looks as good as he could do, and I know what you mean. He does look good. He's done well for this scenario that he's been in, but also
he could be fresher.
What if he didn't fuck up?
Yeah, he would be fresher. He could have been. I don't think he could be condition wise because he is like stripped. He is genuinely like stripped.
Yeah, but he could be
fresher, not as fatigued,
and
not as
probably
battered.
a bit heavier.
Load a little bit. Yeah, load a bit heavier. Yeah. Like with Cam, but the thing is, it's like one of those.
You could always think like that.
Yeah, you could always think, oh, well, what did I do? What did I do 5 years ago? You know, I missed a meal or I underslept for an hour. Yeah, but Cam's done really well. Like the whole point about him fucking up over Christmas, he basically signed up with me like September last year. I can't even remember the time frame, and it was like, right, you're too fat. Let's do a pullback, get you somewhat lean. Build food up, go from there. I said to him, over the December period, we can have a bit of a diet break. And he took a diet break. He's not checking in for 3 weeks and gaining 20 pounds. So he basically went back into his starting
It's your fault, that.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah. No, but the thing is he had full accountability. Even though he didn't check in, he never once was like, oh, we fucked this.
Well,
he was like, I fucked this.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm fucked, dude. He was like, his favourite, the amount of times he was like, I fucked it, dude. He was like, tell me if I can't do it. Tell me if, and I'm like, I think we can. We're just going to have to push hard. And I was like, and if you want to, we can. But we're going to have to push hard. That is the main thing, though, isn't it? Just actually being accountable for it. Yeah. I got a question the other day by somebody, and they said, like, what do you think? And this is, again, it's not really about the podcast, it's similar. Like, it was like, can you, as a coach, like, let's say, for example, if a client follows your plan perfectly, but then they're not on, let's say, come a week or two out, is it the coach's fault or is it the client's fault? And I messaged the dude and I said, I've had similar situations. However, like, you can't control how a client perceives stress. You can't control how a client trains. Like, when it came to certain clients I've worked with, even yourself, to be fair, when it gets to a point where you're 6, 8, 9, 10 weeks out and you're putting time limits in the gym and you're not training that hard, or you're still you never not trained hard, but you were definitely rushing through sessions a bit more because you're like, just get it done, tick a box.
Yeah, that's it.
So I messaged the guy saying it takes two to tango. The coach is never going to be faultless. Every single time we've got a client on stage, the things that we would obsess and think could have done this better. Yeah. Even if they've won, like Josh winning overall, Jacob winning overall, I thought to myself, there's a few things we probably could have done a bit better, which you then put into the practice for next prep. But I think nowadays it seems very easy to be like, fucked it, it's coach's fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think if, let's say, someone has absolutely nailed everything and they're like really out of shape, and the coach is going, nah, mate, you look great, you're in shape, you've nailed it, like, then that's the coach's fault. If the coach is knowingly like, you're not at the level, or you're not in condition as the sort of what I'd like you to be, and they've maybe recommended pushing the show back, or let's say potentially saying like, right, you look good, but you're not 100%, let's do this as a warm-up show, let's book another couple in 6 weeks time, and I think that's sound. But like also like it's easy to sort of everybody knows how to map out a prep, and like you can be like, right, this is exactly what we want, but that's a lot easier said than done. Like things happen, for example, with Sonny this week. I didn't plan for that, he didn't plan for that, you know what I mean? It's like these things can happen and you have to work around it. Like you have to be very adaptive. I had a client message me today like, hey mate, can you just like let me know about what the whole plan's going to be for the peak week? I was like, no. Well,
I said,
sorry, I can't.
I was like, if I said that, I'd be a shit coach.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I literally said, if a coach was to sort of give you your whole peak week plan before the peak week, like that's not good. Like that's lazy coaching. Like we're at that point now where I've got pretty much got 5 people peaking at the minute. I've got 4 for this weekend, and then 4 for next weekend. But Owen, I'm kind of like peaking him now anyway because I've been like battering him basically since he started. So it's like all of them checking in like multiple times a day. Yeah. So it's like, it's a lot of work. Yeah. If I was a shit coach and I couldn't be asked, I'd just be like, do whatever you want, I don't care. Or I'd just like say, this is what you're going to do for the whole week. Like, but when you're legit in condition or close and you've worked hard and you've got to that point where you're nearly there, like that peak week is going to be manipulated and you're going to have to make changes. But I think like it is, I wouldn't want to be like, oh, it's completely the coach's fault. if, let's say, they're miles off.
Yeah.
Because there'll be points where clients won't do as they're asked. In which case, like, when I was coached by AJ, it was almost like, right, I need to make sure, even more than anything, that I nail everything. Because now I'm not only presenting myself for me, I'm I'm also actually presenting myself as a client of AJ. So I have to make sure I've done everything that I've been asked to the T. Like, it gives you that bit of extra accountability. If I'd have fucked up on something, I'd be like, fucking hell, like, what's the point?
You fucked his work,
I actually think if, let's say throughout the prep with AJ, I'd have binged on my diet, or like say I'd have just stopped training or whatever. Yeah. I actually think I'd have just been like, I'm not prepping.
Yeah,
I think I'd been like, I'd feel that bad. I'd be like, right, I'm going to leave it because I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And now
I had the same conversation with my mum actually when we were like speaking about something similar, and I was like, because like I remember once in prep, like you said to me, like, I think you sent me a photo of like a Five Guys, and I was like, I was just like laughing, like binged, like 2021 or 2020, and like if I'd messaged you saying I've cheating on my diet or something, you wouldn't even believe me. And I said to my mum, if she came downstairs and saw me eating,
very different.
Yeah, if my mum came downstairs or like saw me eating, she would literally be like, okay, your prep's done then. And if I was like, no, I'm going to carry on, she'd be like, you're not carrying on. Like,
it's not worth it.
This is your head's gone.
Sort this out first.
Yeah, and I think like I spoke to, I'm not going to mention who because he's only got like literally like a few prep clients. But he spoke to me at Woodford Derby the other day, and he said like, this is like one of his first clients on stage. Were you there? And he was like, nice lad. And he was like telling him that he fucked it. He was like, so he was a bit behind. He did this, and I said like, so he cheated on his diet, and it was like, because you could tell what he was saying, but he didn't want to say his client was cheating on his diet. And it's a shame that the coach
doesn't make you a bad coach.
Yeah, like, that's not your fault. But the problem is nowadays, it's becoming so fucking common that every single person seems to like. When we started prepping, like 2020, 2021,
it was unheard of. It was like, if you cheated on your diet, you didn't compete.
Yeah, you didn't compete. You were a fucking idiot. Like, I didn't know anyone. And again, obviously, I know we're bigger names. We have more clients. We've got more access to coaches who speak to us and stuff. But like, I feel like back in the day, it was like you'd already dieted multiple times. You'd already got lean. You've already had shit reversals where we fucking like ate shit when we were younger, like dieting. When you did that month diet and I was on holiday, like we've had not binge eating to the point where it's like in a prep, but like we would have finished a diet and said, fuck it, let's have some food.
Yeah, like
felt like shit.
Mental.
Yeah, felt like shit, but we would have gone, okay, cool, we've done that.
But I'd have never done it in the diet.
No, never done it in the diet.
I'd have made sure I was so strict.
But now it's like it's just happened, and it's like, I could just carry on.
Just dig harder the next week.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's not the point.
I think it's because it's becoming more popular. People think it's cool to do. People are getting into it at younger years.
People are also getting into it for the actual food aspect of it. Like people get into bodybuilding so they can eat post show, or so they can have refeeds, or so they can peak and have an exciting peak week with more food. It's like that's not why you want to get into bodybuilding. Like it's if you get into it because of that, you're going to get found out. Like you either won't get in shape or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like
I just don't know why somebody would go through the stages of like restricting and starving themselves for like 6 months to then eat what they want, but they could do that when they don't prep.
Yeah.
Like just be a fat slob. Just eat whatever the fuck you want year round and then just train. Yeah, and then that's fine. But just don't be thinking you're going to be competitive by having like the work ethic and actions of like someone who is a fat slob. Like if all I was thinking of is like, I can't wait to eat this, I'd just be like, there's times in a prep where you are going to be more food focused. The thought of going out for a meal is going to be really nice. The thought of having something different is not nice, but like, it's just a thought. It's not like I'm going to do it. It's just like, that'd be nice, but you don't go, okay, I'm going to do it. Because if it got to that point, I'd just be like, why am I doing this? Like, it's not worth it.
That's also fine. Like, if that is the case, that's fine. Like, if, let's say, you did that last year, we'd have been like, okay, let's just call it a day. Yeah. You're obviously not in the right headspace. Let's just leave it. Yeah. And then come back in a few months and think, right, let's assess. Let's get yourself back in a good spot mentally. Yeah. Let's get back enjoying training. Yeah. And then there's always the potential to go again. Like, address that first, I think.
But people are now, I think, not addressing it.
continuing, and then the post-show phase.
The post-show phase is like, I remember again in 2021 there was a dude, I spoke about him before, no hate, one of Tom's clients who I told you about. I didn't recognise him. He had gained like honestly like 70 pounds in 4, 5, 6 weeks. It was like stupid, and I didn't recognise who he was because of how badly he's rebounded, and like that was like an absolute outlier. Where now it's like it's literally becoming like, half of the time you see people, they're post-show, like every single time I put a question box up, I don't even answer them anymore. I get asked all the time, how have you grown this? How have you managed your rebound? You've put on so much muscle in the last year, you've done this. It's like, because I didn't eat like a fucking twat. I didn't eat like an idiot.
And you were like very over-dieted.
Yeah.
People probably followed you throughout that prep when you were very lean.
Yeah,
like,
and then thought, God, he's lost all his muscle.
Yeah.
And then I put some muscle back on and he actually looks like he trained. Yeah. He's got some muscle again. But I think
it's just actually having some discipline.
Yeah. Like, but that discipline, if you continue, like, just all it does is kick the can further down the road that you then just have to eventually pick up. But if you're then trying to do it when you don't have structure of a show, wow, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to learn those habits because you will eat so much food to the point where you'll be almost like fucking hospitalised. And then it'll be like, oh, no, I still have my eating disorders, you know? And I haven't even done well because I look shit on stage.
Still haven't sorted it.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah,
like
it was, because I read it and was like, I knew who it came from, and I won't mention like who to you on here, but it was like, I think it was quite like close to home with someone I've coached, and I was like, I get where they're coming from, but I also think like, I think if they're in, it was more so I think him talking about being over dieted, and I was like, because you can't control how someone's stresses are, you can't control how they perceive certain things, like you can map out the perfect thing, but it doesn't matter, like how you are as an individual.
Yeah, there are points as well, like you say, like within coaching, like there'll be points where you think I can probably just push this person a little bit harder, and then you realise, okay, I couldn't, because they're like, nope, they're fucked. Likewise, you think this person is probably gonna, they don't, can't push them much harder. They need to pull back, and then you realise probably didn't need to pull them back then. But you learn from that. Like, there's no.
And also, I think feedback as well. This is something I jumped in. It's hard to.
No,
like,
go on. There's no like. No,
Sanaya used to say a lot. Like, not as much in her first, not in her last prep, but in her first prep, she'd like. I remember we joked about it. She used to always say she was flat. Tom says I go flat so quickly. It's like you're a fucking. I know she did tone figure, but like you're literally you have. You have not enough muscle to go flat in a day or two. Like that's not the case. And like we've had clients, and again, I think the person was talking about like the client saying to me constantly from like 6 weeks out, most days. I need a refeed, I don't need a refeed, but I could have to do extra food, I'm feeling a bit sluggish. If you're constantly as a coach being told feedback that in a way you don't need to hear, like we don't need to hear, I need a refeed.
Inaccurate.
It's hard to then assess, and then you almost naturally resent that, and you're like, no, I want you to stick to the plan. And then it's like you almost start to like
fight against that.
Listen, because you're like, if I'm being told this, but like I'm telling you to do this, then you're having other people say stuff to you. It's like, it's hard to muddy the water. It muddies the waters entirely, and it's very hard to be accurate. We've had clients where they literally will just mention refeed constantly, and it's like, can you just shut up about food? I'll tell you when you need a refeed, but when you're being told, like, I remember looking through a client sheet last year, and it was like, because the dude was mentioning like refeed constantly, and I was like, looked at his sheets, I was like, I gave him on 9 days ago. I was like, he's still not even like below his like low weight by like that much. He's like, you're fine, bro. We need another 2 pounds off.
Though they're just getting flat again. The worst part within a prep is depleting back down. Like you feel good, you do a show or you have a refeed. I remember again when back in 2020, like I remember feeling so good. Like
you were doing those crumpet protocols.
Well, it was like Friday, Saturday refeed. Most weeks because I was like wasn't obviously shredded, but like I was relatively lean, like relatively early.
For 2020, you were like the condition was sound. Like you weren't like for for a junior first timer, your condition was like sound. You weren't fat free, but you were like sound. Like could be like 5 pounds leaner, but you were pretty close.
Definitely. But it was like I was having refeeds of like 700 carbs, like Friday, Saturday. So like Fridays felt great, was excited. Like Saturdays felt amazing, Sundays felt amazing, Mondays felt good. Tuesdays, I'm feeling a bit shit. Wednesday was legs at progress, awful. Thursday, awful.
Cries to AJ.
And then it was like Friday again. Cool.
Great.
So that depletion part, every time I felt so bad. I literally would like get in the car and feel like I was going to cry. Usually like Tuesday, Wednesday sessions were just awful. And then the Thursday rest day was like hell. And then Friday I was like, oh cool, I'll get more food again. Like, so it was like psychologically I could handle it because I got to that point where I was getting more food again. But yeah, it was like that sort of deplete back down. It was the same like last year after shows. Like you fill up a little bit, you freshen up a bit, you pull away expenditure, you feel on top of the world, you feel amazing, and then you're like, well, actually, I'm not 100% yet, so I do actually need to get leaner. So I need to still
do a bit more.
I still need to chip away, and then you start chipping away and getting flat again. You're like, I feel fucking horrendous, and you feel even worse because you thought you'd got out of it, but you haven't.
And every time I feel like you hit a new low, it's like, oh, you actually hit an even lower low.
Yeah, you feel
the diet fatigue almost like it's like a wave. It's like
new mental low.
Yeah, and it's like, it's hard. And it's one of those, like, I don't know why. I've never felt like I get benefits from high days when it comes to how I feel. Like, I always feel worse on the high days. And then, like, we used to always say, like, the day I used to have a high day, Monday, because I dropped weight Sunday, Monday, because my Sundays were more chilled. I used to always run, like, a high day on Monday towards the back end of my prep. And every Monday, Finn would be like, you all right? And I wouldn't talk for the whole session. I'd just be like, I feel fucked. Yeah. Like, I've had, like, an extra, like, I've tripled my carbs. I feel like death. Like, I don't know why. I feel like I'm one who just doesn't respond.
Normal to like drastically increase appetite in it, and you're gonna. Some people, it's more so the psychological aspect. I think like it's not like I feel so much better physically. It's psychologically you get to enjoy some more food. And you look forward to that more food. Like so, if you've got that attachment to food, then it's like oh cool, I get a bit more. But if you haven't, which you never really have, then you're just sort of like.
I'm just eating, but I don't really like. I still feel shit, and I'm not even having the excitement of more food because I'm like, don't really. It's not. I don't. When you're lean, you obviously I enjoy more food, but I'm not. I wouldn't say no, but I'm not going to be like yes. Like you know how some people are like, all I've thought about is my post-workout meal. It's like even no matter how lean I am, how battered I am, I've never thought can't wait to finish this session so I can have my Cocoa Pops or dry. So I just think, sound got a bit extra food. You know, that's like that. You know, but again, I think it's one of those where it is very like it's situation dependent, isn't it? You know, and it's something that is challenging because again, like the question was really good, and it's hard to get into because I didn't even answer it on the questions because I have to have done like 7 fucking stories.
Well, we've spoke about it for 20 minutes.
Joe Gillen, you asked the question. Okay, yeah, Joe was the one who asked.
Was it?
Yeah. So Joe, there's your answer, mate. That's mine and Finn's response.
No, it's like it is. It's. I was gonna say there's no like right or wrong. There's no like handbook of like this is exactly how to prep every individual. Like everybody's different. Some people will love the dig and love pushing and not want to refeed. Other people will, as soon as it gets a bit hard, hate it. And for those people, you probably need a lot longer. You probably need more frequent refeeds. Like for the people who just enjoy digging, you could probably get them ready in 8 weeks. There's people whose genetic set point is a lot lower than others. Joe Gillen, for example.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I know he works hard to get in shape, but I can guarantee that he's one of the easier clients to prep for Tim than somebody who has a much higher genetic set point, somebody who didn't have the same maybe upbringing. I know Joe was like doing boxing when he was younger and stuff, so like mentally
he supports Chelsea as well, so that's like a roller coaster in itself.
Painful, But yeah, like everybody's different, and I completely get what you're saying when somebody's constantly saying like I need this, I need that. It's like the boy who cried wolf. It's like when do you actually listen? Yeah, it's hard. Like to, it's like I don't actually know when. All I've got now is the data because what you're saying, it's just noise now. Yeah. I'm not actually really taking that feedback on board because you're just saying it all the time. Yeah. So instead, I'm actually just going to look at the data, and if you're losing too quickly, I'll give you a refeed. Yeah, if you're not losing at all for weeks and I've made changes, I'll probably give you a refeed. Yeah. Like I'll go off that unless if I have a client who's really accurate with it.
In our preps, I think we might have mentioned it to each other. On its own 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, like I think I might.
Yeah, I said to you about like running a burger and fries because I was like, I'm not gaining any weight and I don't think I'm getting any fuller. Like I might just throw a burger and fries and you're like, do it tomorrow. So
it was at Evo.
Yeah, and I was like, sound. And then like when you called me when you had the meltdown and you were like,
cried about my wheel.
Needed Nando's, and I was like, sure, get Nando's. Don't get the chili jam though, bro. You'll get fat. Right, you want to get into some questions, mate? Have you got any?
No, I got 0.
0 questions. Podcast falling off. You haven't done one for like a few weeks, and that's it.
I'm joking. I got loads.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Let's get them up. But yeah, it was a good question. Like I said, when I saw it come through, I was like, I can't really answer it on questions like on a story because it's like it's very in depth, and also it's hard to voice like how you want to kind of come across because, like I said, it's very there's only so much you can do as a coach, and like I said, it does take 2 to tango. No person is ever blame free. Like, well, to be fair, actually, I think a coach is blame free if someone just binges from fucking 8 weeks out. You know, like that is the coach hasn't done anything wrong there. But then you can also argue, how's the coach been? Like with the actual client, have they been supportive? Like if you've been sending email check-ins or text message check-ins,
not getting back to them for 4 days,
like and they go off plan. Like I almost like I'm like, well, yeah, I'd probably if I was a shit client,
if I didn't know what was going on,
if I was like a first timer going into it and my coach wasn't getting back to me for 3 days, I'd be like, what am I doing diet wise? Like you might just eat your own, but I'll just eat like
I want a refeed.
I'm gonna have a refeed. Go flat, bro. Right, do you want to go first, mate?
Oren O'Neill, going on a lad's holiday Friday.
He's asked me 2 questions. He asked this, he asked about a lad's holiday, how to minimise damage. He asked this. Sorry, bro, I aired you. Sorry.
I'm super happy with my current physique and in my cut. How does one minimise damage when alcohol will be consumed?
Well, he could have signed up for coaching with either of us. He had signed up,
him before.
yeah, and then he messaged me.
And then he messaged about starting coaching with Noah.
Yeah.
Come on, mate, just choose.
Yeah, pick a coach, please. Me, Finn, or Noah.
And he's good as well. I coached him, mate, he's good. He's very good.
Yeah. So what was the question? He's drinking.
So going on a lad's holiday, how can he basically minimise damage done? Because he's done a diet. He's happy with where he's at. How can he minimise damage when alcohol will be consumed? So the obvious answer is
Hydroflow, Reese 10.
Yeah, that's the obvious answer. FinTech. The obvious answer is you don't need to drink. But obviously, if you want to drink, which I know a lot of people will, and they'll be like, well, that's not the fucking answer. I'm going to drink.
Yeah.
Then what I would suggest, and this is what I did, and it actually worked really well, when I went to, this is the last time I really drank, when I went to Magaluf for Matt's stag do.
Yeah.
So I would basically take a Monster. So I'd have a Monster when everyone else was having pre-drinks. I would then have waters throughout the night, and I'd have 2 or 3 gin and tonics or gin and lemonades
Malibu.
Or Malibu and Diet Coke.
Finn loves Malibu.
All Malibu. So I'd have maybe 3 or 4 drinks, but I'd have a Monster which would keep me awake, because usually I'd be going to bed at 9. We were not even going out until 10, 11.
Yeah.
So that'd keep me awake. Then I'd have a few drinks while I was out, but I'd drink water while I was out.
Yeah.
Then I'd get in, I'd have vitamin C, Hydroflow, and a litre of water.
Yeah.
I'd wake up feeling great.
Yeah.
And I did that 4 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And also, that was the same time that I was peaking Butcher's Wet Dream.
Yeah.
So I was up at 6 a.m. to get
Hydroflow
back to
wasn't
his
even out at
check-ins.
that point, bro. Might have been Hydromax.
It might have been Hydromax.
Oh,
No, it probably was Hydroflow before it was a thing.
Yeah.
No, I was definitely having vitamin C.
Yeah.
I remember having vitamin C tablets, and I was having a drink.
Yeah.
So I must have been having some.
Might have been a Powerade, electrolyte.
It was it was definitely a juice flavoured thing. But the main thing was I was having vitamin C.
Yeah.
And I was waking up dead early because I was
Yeah.
getting back to Butcher's Wet Dream. There was one night where I just got back to him.
Yeah, no, and then you passed out, didn't you?
I passed out. No, I didn't pass out. I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I was getting back. I was doing check-ins. I literally got home from the night out at 5,
Yeah.
and I was like, I might as well stay up.
Yeah.
So I got my laptop from the room, came outside to by the pool. I was just sat on a table, and I was I did a couple of check-ins that I'd already checked in from that night before. Did a couple of check-ins, and to be fair, I felt sound. I was when you're
that numb,
tipsy,
tired,
a little bit tipsy still from you're not hungover, you're not drunk, but you feel like you've got a bit of energy still. So I was waiting for Matt to check in. I was kept checking my phone. I was I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But he checked in. I got back to him and then just fell asleep in this chair, and I was there for hours.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 hours I was asleep.
Mate, imagine you didn't lock your laptop. I know it dies quickly, but imagine you're falling asleep in a chair, laptop, and you just see someone just
Butcher's Wet Dream,
Butcher's Wet Dream in his posing thong.
3/4
and in his posing thong, and all the guys are like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And they're just falling asleep, just dribbling, just they would be "What the fuck? Who's this guy? Why have we invited this guy?"
That was when I realised, okay, I can actually. If it's in a short period of time, I could actually do this and still
be an alcoholic,
go out with my mates and stuff. No, still actually do. Every night, I was the most awake. Yeah. I felt I stayed out the latest each time with the people. I never went home early. You know what I mean? And it wasn't because I was I don't want to go home early. Whatever they say, I was I'm actually having a good time. Yeah. But I wasn't smashed.
Yeah.
I didn't feel awful the next day. Throughout the day, the next day it was we're chilling by the pool. Yeah. I could have a nap here or there. It was sound. So. That's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, I would say as well, because you didn't really mention, food wise, eat frequently.
Don't eat.
Don't
save all your calories for alcohol.
Yeah, just imagine macros: 0 carbs, 0 fat, 0 protein. Just literally, but have you managed 4,500 calories? Oh, you had 18 pints. Great, this mate. No, get in protein. Bring some whey protein. Just so you've got some regular protein feedings. Probably have a pro fat first meal, just protein as a first meal. Try and eat actually decent quality food, which is going to be hard when you're in a lad sort of place, but it's not impossible. You can go and get some fruit, some yogurts, stuff like that. You can get yourself some meats or whatever throughout the day. Maybe you literally buy, let's say, a sandwich and just have the protein from it or something like that. And then in the evening, have a nice meal with the boys, wherever you're going to be, and just try and keep up, let's say, hydration throughout the day. Keep your steps up. You probably will be doing steps anyway, in the evening and stuff like that, so you'll be sound.
Swimming, pissing about, playing in the pool.
Realistically, you probably aren't going to fuck it. You are, if you're stressing out, he's asked me, he's asked you, by the time that this comes out, it would have already happened. So sorry, bro. Hopefully you haven't fucked it.
Too late.
But if you spill over a little bit and you come back and you're a little bit heavier, once you get back to routine, you'll revert back to a baseline and then just slowly build your food up from there. So like, don't be thinking, oh, day one I get back, I get to push my food up. Just go back to baseline. You'll probably have a week or so of like a clearance, getting back to normality, dropping off some water weight, and then you'll be cool. So yeah, I'll ask the questions you asked me as well. Always have at least night or two of port sleep. I guess he means poor. A week under 5 hours. Sorry, did this guy type? He's typed this horrendously. Always have at least a night or two of poor sleep a week, under 5 hours, but 8 hours in bed. Would you recommend the Holy Grail sleep supplement? As I've never tried one. I'm sure it means Supreme Sleep, which Reese 10 or Finn 10, whichever one you prefer, guys. Whoever you prefer on the podcast.
Whichever one's shorter, easier to type out.
Yeah,
that's mine.
Yeah.
Mine's only six characters. Yours is 7.
Oh, fuck. RP7, not Finn FK7. Would I recommend a Supreme Sleep? Well, I'd recommend it for anybody if your sleep routine's nailed. But if you're sleeping under like, we actually had this conversation last week when we weren't hating each other in the van about like lesser sleep and sometimes not needing a sleep supplement, because I find if I'm sleeping for 5 hours, I wouldn't want to have a sleep sup because I feel like
I still like it.
I feel like I'd wake up and feel more sluggish. But I'm somebody who my sleep never is amazing, so I never like wake up and I'm always like, I never wake. If I was to sleep for 5 hours, I wouldn't wake up and go, oh, I'm so tired. I'd rather just wake up and be able to get on with stuff.
I never feel sluggish with Supreme Sleep though.
I don't, but I have with other sleep sups, especially if I sleep for a low amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, so I always think like if I was to sleep for 3 or 4 hours, when me and Sanaa went to Barcelona like 6 weeks ago, we were going to wake up at like 3 o'clock and it was like 10:30. She was like, do you want some Supreme Sleep? And I was like, no, I'll be alright. And then she was like, I'm going to have some. And I was like, well, you might feel sluggish when you wake up. And she was like, oh yeah, good idea. Like, I won't.
Yeah, but I said, the opposite side of that.
You might get better quality sleep.
Yeah, the shorter sleep. And I do feel like that. Like, I'll still use it even if it's like, okay, I'm going to get a bit of a shorter sleep. Yeah. Because I know that I can get to sleep probably a bit quicker.
Yeah, a bit quicker.
And I'll probably get a better quality sleep. But yeah, like, I do have clients who are like, oh, I'm going to get Supreme Sleep, but their sleep's all over the place. And I'm like, you can get it all you want, mate, but like, your routine is awful. Yeah. So like, yeah, it might help a little bit, but it's not going to improve your sleep routine. Like, you need to sort that. You need to sort out what time you're eating your last meal. You need to sort out, having a structure before bed. You need to sort out your pre-bed routine. You need to get off your phone. Like, Supreme Sleep's not going to do that for you.
No. Right. I'll go again, mate, 'cause I've got a few. One of the guys that is signing with myself by the looks of things, Zach, he's currently in his prep, so hopefully the shows are going well, mate. I think he's got one next weekend, I think, if I'm not mistaken. How close after finishing prep is it okay to get a 10k calorie challenge filmed for YouTube? Never. It's never okay, bro. These are thoughts that you have during a prep. These are definitely thoughts that like are more appealing when you diet. And mate, you're more than welcome to. I think he said to me his flash show's the Saturday and he wants to start with me the Monday. And unfortunately, mate, I'm not going to have in your plan. Yeah, go do it on Sunday, bro. Do it on Sunday or the Saturday. Unfortunately, mate, I'm not going to say to you on your starting intro video, 10k calorie challenge, please, one time this week. I think there's pros. The only pro is you get a lot of food. You probably will wake up the following day, feel like shit. You won't want to eat.
And 10k is not that much though. Like, for example, if you were to compete on a Saturday, let's say not go crazy that night. Yeah. Let's say just go for a nice meal. Yeah. Then Sunday you're like, right, I'm going to do the 10k challenge. Yeah. You probably polish that off pretty easily.
Mate, you could do the 10k calorie challenge on the Saturday.
Like, post show.
Yeah, without like people if you were competing in the morning. Yeah, morning or early afternoon, without even trying. So. It's one of those where, like, realistically, mate, like, obviously, I know the guy's bought a camera and stuff, but, like, think about it. If your first introduction to
bought a camera athlete, just for that?
No, he's like, I think he's had he says he wants to, like, put himself more on social media. If your first ever video, or, like, your first proper video is, hey, guys, I've just competed, I'm going to do a 10k calorie challenge, I don't think that comes across like your...
In the long term, that's not going to benefit you.
That's not going to benefit you. If I was to see that, I'd be like, you're not into it for the right reasons. Like, that's literally what I think. And that's a harsh thought, because I've spoke to the guy on the phone, he seems like a really nice dude. I know that's not what you like. And also, at the same time, 10k cal isn't that impressive. People do it all the time. Not that. Yeah, do a 30k calorie challenge, bro. Then we'll be impressed. But like, I don't know. Not many people actually give a fuck. Like, I think if me and you did it, and this might be a bit cocky, but if it was like a 20k calorie or something, people would go, oh well, they like me and Finn because we've posted. Or they don't like us, whatever. They might follow us.
I know what you mean. It's like,
you almost want to.
I wouldn't do it as my first YouTube video, but also like if you want to do it, just do it. Like. Yeah. We're not like we shouldn't be holding you back, or you shouldn't be asking. Like, obviously, you've asked the question, but you shouldn't be worrying, thinking like, "Oh, when's the right time?" If you really want to do that,
how close? It's like there's not really a time.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't have a day where
there's never a right time. So if you want to do it, do it. Don't stress about it being like optimal. It's not going to be. So if you want to do it, go for it.
Yeah.
Miles Mason said, "Try and tell a story without Reese interrupting."
Miles gets a bit of a bee in his body, doesn't he, about certain things, and then like he seems to stick to these opinions. It was like he's had a few things that he said randomly about you that like I've never thought of, and he's mentioned it to me, and I'm like
what?
I can't remember. He's mentioned a few
Tell
things.
me now.
When he sacked you, it was something about you being a shit coach, and then he went to somebody
binging
else.
on rice cakes.
Yeah, binging on rice cakes, and then he seems to have mentioned this a few times, and it's like I think Miles doesn't read the room very well because I feel like both of us say in person he says stuff, and we're a bit like, sound, cheers, like we are a bit like
he is he's anxious in like
and I think comments like
situations.
this, like I guarantee if we see him, he'd say this to me, and we both just be like, we never spoke about it.
I'll be like,
he does it all the time. But he said a few things about Finn, like about your hair. You know, that was one of them. Hates his hair. And it's like, there's certain times where like, I think maybe it's a level of like mental age where it's like, you better just keep your mouth shut because you do come across like a bit of a twat at times. We like you, Miles. But these sort of comments, like, I do love
Miles. But I think he is and he says it, he knows he is. He's like a socially awkward kind of person.
But he doesn't have to, like, with your hair,
I think he does like to just wind. He's like a wind-up merchant, isn't he?
But
which
it's
is
not
funny.
It's funny for him, but it's not. No one's gone, oh, Miles has got Reece there. Or no one, like, Shannon's not going, oh, Miles has done you there. Or you hate Finn's hair. Oh, I hate Finn's hair as well. He said to me, like, he randomly came up to me, I hate Finn's hair. And I was like, in between bicep curl sets. And I just literally was like, sound? I think it's alright.
It's kind of gone out, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, but he was like, I was so like...
Because of what Miles said, I've grown it out.
I was just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, Miles also asked, how is the house hunt going? Which I do appreciate, or the house search, which I appreciate you asking, mate, but I don't know. Shannon knows.
Yeah.
Shannon does the house search.
Yeah, we've been both collectively, like, I might be moving out, we've been on Rightmove a lot, haven't we? So...
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, we haven't, but we've been looking, so... yeah.
People close to us have.
Yeah, so... Yeah,
to be fair, like... Obviously, it's a big thing that I do want to sort, but also it's like... It's always like... It's like always at the top of the priority list, but then also my rent's not expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting money renting because I'm spending so little on rent.
Yeah.
Like, but then also it's like I would like more space. I would like a bigger place, definitely. But at the minute, like I'm just so busy with everything. It's like spinning so many plates.
Yeah.
So I was saying this to Shannon the other day, especially after the days in the van.
Yeah.
I think I had like a few, like same with you. We both had a few new setups as well. Yeah. New clients sending loads of training videos. It was like I said to Shannon, I was like, I feel like I'm spinning like 100 plates and I'm still like behind on work.
Yeah.
The last thing I need to then be doing is like, oh, let me try and look for a house. Like, I don't have time. Like, I know it sounds stupid because it's like a big life event and it's a big goal that I do have, but I'm also not like, I'm also not like I need a house
I've
now.
I've not thought
like,
to myself like, obviously I'm moving out, but it means now I'll just be renting for like a year or two. Like, I'm not in an immediate thought of like getting a house. Like, it's not something that I'm like. I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's because we're not like probably family orientated. I want a family where I want to have 3 kids. If we had kids on the way, it'd be a bit different. But like, I don't know. I just feel like I've never thought to myself, I need to have a house.
I think for a lot of people, it's like a big goal.
Yeah, like my happiness is like me being me and doing what I do, not but having a house. Yeah. You know, like there's more things in life that I think.
More so just the investment side of things. Isn't it? Like it does make more sense than living with your mum for the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Right, Chinese takeaway refeed, yes or no? Asked by Charlie, who is the JP factory organisation, like the guy sends stuff around and all that sort of stuff.
Refeed. So, what, as in like actually in diet or in a contest?
It's just a Chinese refeed. Chinese takeaway refeed, yes or no? It's going to be hard.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of fats. It's going to be cooked in oil. The quality of...
Fair enough as an off-plan meal. But...
Yeah. I think like an off-plan meal of Chinese is sound if you're clever. Because you can get like a sound Chinese, or you can get like, I'm a disgusting like slug of a Chinese. Like, there's like, if you were to have a client, I had Chinese... You
in
almost
my
need
head,
to
that's
know.
just like chicken and noodles or chicken and rice, but for a lot of people,
it's like everything, and you've gained like 4 pounds. Yeah. But refeed, no. Off plan, yes, because you can get a lot better quality food sources that aren't going to be probably higher in fats and stuff like that. So yeah.
Have you guys ever? This is from Teddy Hunnisett. Have you ever refused to prep a client for whatever reason, not ready, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't think of one that springs to my mind, but I say refuse. I've definitely told people you're not ready yet, physically and mentally. Like I said to today, I won't mind. I said to Deanna, she was under on her steps like 2 of the days, and she was like, I need you to tell me off about my steps. She's been busy, she's got a new job, all that sort of stuff, and she's in a really good spot. Like, she's not behind at all. But I said to her, like, this isn't my job. Like, my job's to tell you what to do. I'm not a motivator. I'm not going to be stood there clapping saying, you've got to do this. I was like, the standards in a prep are higher than what you're showing. I will not prep you if you carry on like this. And those sort of conversations, I could easily go, Deanna's a class client. She could easily win a class, win an overall. She could probably be like a pro bikini guide in a few years. She's really good. Genetically a freak, trains really hard. But I have no issue at all having those harsh conversations if somebody needs to hear it, because I know they'll respond well. If they don't respond well, I'm not losing out anything there, because they're losing out because I give a fuck about them. And like, again, Deanna's class, she's an amazing client, 99 out of 100 weeks. Just she had a bit of a poor 3-day period when she was moving with work. And like with other people, it's like, if you have to have those conversations, it's like, I've noticed, and this is something that I learned a lot last year, I had a few clients actually pull out of me coaching them before preps. One that ended up going against one of my guys, Ethan. And like, I don't think this was entirely the reason. There's many other probably reasons. But I am very, very, in that pre-prep period with any client, if they're prepping, I am completely different to if they're not prepping. I'll be incredibly on it with everything. And for some, it's probably a little bit too much. For some, it might be a case where they go, fuck, like if this is how it's going to be now, what's it going to be like on show day?
Pre-prep realistically should be harder, because it's more aggressive.
Yeah, but if you learn a lot and you teach the individual what the standards are, and if they can't meet those standards, they would just they wouldn't get on stage.
Yeah, you have to say, look, you're not going to be able to prep.
Yeah.
Or I'd argue even the phase in between.
Yeah.
Like Cam, for example, the phase in between the pre-prep and the prep. If you've got, let's say, 3-4 months, maybe even 3 to 6 months, if you don't manage that well, you're probably not going to manage the prep well, and you're definitely not going to manage the post-show phase well.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having that mindset of like, oh, well, I'm out of the pre-prep now, and you just go and gain 20, 30, 40 pounds when it's like the goal was to gain 5 to 10 max, you've already shot yourself in the foot, and you're going to put yourself in an awful position for post-show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just going to say, like, I remember there was a guy a while ago who, it was probably like 2-3 years ago, it was just after I'd, maybe about 6 months or so after I'd stopped coaching with AJ, and this guy wanted prepping, and I think I must have told you.
Was he from AJ?
No, he was just like, I don't know who he was, I can't remember. I remember speaking to you about it, and I remember I sent AJ a voice note, and this is before I'd prepped anyone, so it must have been. It will have been the year that I was going to be prepping Sonny and Slate in the first season. And this guy literally messaged me, he was like, hey mate, I want to compete, I want to do these shows, I'm like 12 weeks out from them or whatever, like I really want you to help me, He looked awful. And I remember I sent AJ a voice note, and I sent AJ the photos, and I was like, hey mate, like, I know you don't coach me anymore, like, but I just wanted some advice, like, this guy is asking this to this. I was like, he'd be my first client on stage. He doesn't look good. Like, he's not, even if I get him peeled, he's not good.
Yeah.
I don't want to prep him. What should I do? And AJ was like,
say no.
You know what to do. He was like, you've already told me. Like, just don't prep him. Like, you can say no. And I was like, cool. So I say no. Yeah. And it felt weird because obviously I was at that point where I was like, I want more clients.
You say yes to everybody usually.
Yeah, you want more clients, but also I was like, that would just make me look worse.
It's a reflection of you.
Yeah,
like, your first client's important.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, like, fair play to Sonny and Slater, they both nailed their first preps, and I was still learning on the job, like you always are. But like at that point, like now I know so much more. They still both got in really good shape. They both still got good results, like for how they looked. Like I was still very happy with their preps. But yeah, if I'd have prepped that guy, it'd have been like, well, you've just signed up with me for a very short period. You don't look good. You're out of shape. You don't have enough muscle. Like I haven't learned about you at all. We haven't got a relationship. No. So yeah, definitely there's times when to say no. And even with like long-term clients, you might plan a timeline, and you get towards that timeline, and you probably go, okay, you're probably still not ready. And that's fine. Like just take more time. Or if they're like, yeah, I'm not ready to be fully competitive, but I still want to compete, that's fine as well. As long as they've proven that they can do it.
Yeah, I get that. Why do you both drive around with no fuel all the time?
Just like living on the edge, don't we?
I find, this to me is so normal, and it's funny because you're the same. Like, we don't fill up pre-workout. The amount of times
I had to the other day.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it just broke down.
I had to yesterday, Wednesday. And like I literally was so annoyed. I got in the car and it was like 42 miles, and I was like, yeah, it's 44 miles of sound. Got on the motor and it dropped down to like 25, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fill up. And I was fuming. My head was gone. I was like, I'm annoyed.
I hate for that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Literally, some people I drive with, the second the light comes on, they've got like 60 miles. I've got to fill up. I'm like, 60 miles? That's like 2 drives. Yeah. You're fine. You do not need to be filling up. There's no particular reason. I don't know why. It's just in my head. It's like I nearly
broke down on the way to Durham with Sam the other day.
Really?
I was like, it's close.
I like to think like I could do one more.
I was on 0 for a while.
Yeah, I'm like, I could do one more services, or like there's a chance I could run out. Have you ever run out? Like,
no, I said that to Sam. I was like, you've run out loads.
Yeah,
like,
no, 3 times. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Once you've done it once, you should never really do it.
Yeah, but like I hadn't ran out for over a year, and then it was because I was on a call with Jack, Pete, and Finn. We were getting told off. We weren't actually. We were just having a bit of a chat, and but it was about actually the show reviews, which is quite cool. So we were chatting about that. And I was on 0 miles, and I didn't realise, and then where the petrol station was, I was like, oh, I can go this way instead. And because I had sat on 0 miles, my car was running, it probably just like slowly trickled down. I didn't really notice it. So that was my own fault. That was just me being an idiot. But then that is a bit of a different sort of circumstance. So I haven't actually gone on 0 and then ran out for a year or 2 years at this point.
This is going to have to be the last question because I need
mate,
to.
No, come on, I've only got a few more.
Mate, I've got loads, and I need to get going.
You're awful, mate. Content wise, you're in the bin, bro.
What are you on about? Mate, I've got all these questions. I've got to go see my boys.
Oh, who you seeing?
George and Sonny.
Okay, fair enough. Sound crack on.
Last one.
Yep.
I've got a weird one. Like, look how little that writing is. How's he done that? I don't know, but it's about bowel movements anyway. We'll answer that one next time. Midid Shadadad. Liam Turner, guide for first time shaving body hair. Final question.
Huh?
So, first of all, what I would say would be practice plenty of times before like you're looking to compete. If you're on about like prepping, if you're just on about like shaving body hair anytime in off season, there's like loads of different things you could use. You could use a one blade. You could maybe use Veet. Find what you like. For me, I would use Veet for like, let's say, longish hair, and then if there's like any little patches, I'd use like just a dry blade. To be fair, Shannon does it. I know what's it called? The one that it's like the lawnmower 2.0 by Manscaped, something like that. So
Manscaped, OYIYI 10.
OYIYI 10, yeah.
We sponsor everybody. Where's our sponsorship, guys?
Everybody's got
We're close to 1,000 subs. We should be on 1,000 subs by this like video.
We should be, to be fair. Yeah, Manscaped, they do one that's supposedly pretty good, so you could use that. What I would recommend as well is like making sure that you practice with plenty of time before you do compete. Like, don't not shave and then just shave 2 days before or 1 day before your tan. Last shave at least 24 hours before your tan, so that you're not going to get, if you shave like 2 hours before going and getting your tan, you're probably going to have like a quite spotty tan. Yeah, some irritation, but also you're probably going to have potentially like some of your pores are going to still be open, so like the tan will go all like dotty. So if you see someone with like a really dotty tan, they've potentially just shaven a little bit too close to show. And yeah, just be careful. Like, try not to go over it too much. Like, I remember JP, you won't mind me saying, last year he had like quite a bit of irritation, like just like above his like crotch area where he'd like obviously tried to get more off, and it just like irritated his skin. Then the tan didn't sit as well. It was fine on the day, you couldn't even tell. But like before, if that happens and then you're stressing about it, you're then stressing. You're probably not digesting your food as well. You're then sort of thinking, I don't look as good because of that. It's like, so practice plenty of times. After you have shaved, make sure you moisturise. Again, for at least weeks before the show, I'd be exfoliating at least 2-3 times a week and moisturising 2-3 times a week. That makes it easier to shave. It makes the tan go on a lot better as well.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I use Veet and dry shave, but I'm really not very hairy, so I honestly feel like I could probably get away with not shaving. Yeah. Like, you'd be noticeable, but like I get asked all the time, like if I shave or not, and I never really do. So I'm quite lucky, I guess, but I know you're probably a little bit more hairy than me. Maybe.
Yeah, like I haven't shaven my legs for probably like a month or so.
Yeah.
So they have like, I would not compete with that. You know
what
I mean? Like with you, like you could probably get away with it.
Yeah, I probably could. Like, I probably have less hair than like most people.
Yeah,
like
most females.
Yeah, most females.
Most female girls, small children. You have more. You have less hair.
I don't know. Do you know?
No.
You know? No. You don't know?
I said I made a paedophilia joke earlier. I can't make 2 in one episode.
I think we made 3 so far. We made 1 in the first about picking up kids.
Yeah, we didn't pick up any kids.
You know, I'm not going to mention much more because we might get in trouble. But actually, no, we can mention it. You know, the recent person who's come out about a certain level of addiction. Like, and you know, like we spoke about, like some things being a surprise. Like, I joked about Sanaya, like my close friend story, and how many jokes we make about certain underage jokes. And then like something popped up, like because I said Sanaya came in and she was like, "What are you doing? I'm watching porn." And I was like, "No." And I was like, and she was like, "What child porn?" I was like, "Yes, it was. Okay, I'm sorry." And then I was like, "Imagine if that came out. It'd be like it's about me and you." It'd be like, "No, we joke about it all the time." We'd be like, "Oh yeah, they were hinting about it since day one." Turns out it wasn't a hint.
We're not paedophiles.
We're not. We make child jokes.
When Finn McNamara at the show, he was like, "What is it with you two and like freaky teens?" Yeah. And Reece just went, "We're paedophiles." Like, we're quite loud. It's like, we're not.
Yeah, backstage, I don't know if I told you about this as well. When Jacob was pumping up, Jacob said to me, he was like, "Should I have another scoop of Mega Pump?" And I just looked at him like so stupid, like, "Mate, the only answer to that is yes. There is never a time there's no. It's like there's certain things in life, like can you have, let's say, too many OnlyFans subscriptions? Can you go through too many prostitutes when you're in Amsterdam in 2 weeks? I was like, there's certain things, mate, that you just can't. The answer is always yes. I was like, the answer is never no. And like a few people, I can't remember, I don't know the other day, they turned around, they were just like, that's hilarious, mate. And they started laughing, and I was like, Megapump, that's good.
It's gone straight to your head.
It's gone straight to my head.
But there's a lot of people thinking, what a fucking weirdo he is.
Yeah, but Jacob looked good.
Yeah, he did.
So, weirdo, but a good coach. Sign up for coaching below, guys. Right, that's that. We'll leave it there. Have you enjoyed the episode, mate? Classic ep.
Yeah, we need to get the iPad for next time.
Yeah, so thank you, guys. We are currently on 994 subscribers. The iPad has turned on, but it was out of battery by the time that we actually came in here. So, yeah, 994. By the time this is out, should we have a guess? I say 1,053. Mate, this is going to come out, Sam, with if we have the exact
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months. So we're going to gain at least like.
Say we've got.
But we'll be out like a week before this. Yeah, and you would have seen the photo. Yeah, sound right. Thanks, guys. Subscribe, comment, like. That's that. See you later. Bye bye.